Hello, this is Footy Corner TV, and welcome to the North Bank podcast. We've got SJ with us this evening. How are we, sir? You're on mute, mate.
Yeah, I was muted. Sorry, I was trying to move from different one screen to the other. Yeah, I'm doing fine, thanks. Sorry if I got a spectator in the background and Cat decided to join me, but he's going to be quiet. He's going to be quiet tonight. But yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Yeah, just kind of getting over all the media outrage and the media lies and all that nonsense. So, yeah, it's been a fun week, hasn't it? So there we go.
I firmly, we'll probably get into it, but I just switch off from it, to be honest. I really don't pay it zero attention.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I really don't.
It winds me up. I don't know why. It's just like it's just complete me.
Yeah, I do see you online fighting on all battlefronts. You're on the front line.
Oh, I just don't understand what they've got against Arsenal. You know that there are other teams out there that are proven cheats.
Yeah.
And we're in the firing line all the time, and I just don't. I really just don't get it, to be honest with you. So that's why I think it's dishonest, to be honest, and that's why I fight for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But there you go. We've got Dom as well. How are we, sir?
Yeah, very good. As SJ says, you've been fighting a good fight because it is a touch of dishonesty, but recovering from a week ago and looking forward to the football starting again on Saturday. Not that I'll be able to watch it because I'm at a wedding, but hopefully an Arsenal incoming.
Yeah, we hope that. We hope that the players that have pulled out due to assessments by the staff of their nations that have sent them back and basically gone, well, they're friendlies anyway, so we'll send them back. The players that are in actual knockouts are still there, so if they got something to play for, that they haven't sent them home. So it's yeah, I see that they've sent Harry Kane home, and that there's been no outrage about that.
Or many others. Nico
Riley,
I think. Where is he? Is he been sent?
No, he's playing today.
He's playing today, is he?
Yeah, he's playing, but yeah.
But there've been others anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Wharton got sent back. Yeah, there was about 8 players, I think. Didn't Ramsdale got sent back as well?
Ramsdale was one, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they just thought that he's not going to get a game anyway. They're going to play Pickford, so why would they risk him? But and if they just go, well, am I going to play? Yeah, you might play half an hour. Okay. Do you need me then? I'll just go back and take some chill.
I think that's particularly true, like with so many players suffering from fatigue. It's a long season. That's not a reflection on how much their manager played. And we know the best players play because they want to play. Their managers need them to play. You can't take too many risks. Imagine, you go, right, I'm giving, Declan Rice or Haaland, I'm giving them a couple of games off, and you go and lose those games. Well, why have you done that? You can't win. And as I say, these players want to play, but this is a perfect opportunity for them to get a couple of weeks rest in. It benefits the clubs, and it benefits the players, and it benefits ultimately the nations as well, which is why these deals are being done it behind the scenes of, look, there is this underlying problem. He could play, but he just needs a bit of a rest or what have you, is really beneficial. And, as you said, or SJ said, I can't remember who, reality is Calafiori's playing, Yokkers is playing. Why? Because they're actual qualifiers. They are needed. Yeah. But for the clubs, the nations have qualified, and these players are going. They play. Madueke, for instance, played the last game. Why? Because there's a question mark. Does he go or Jared Bowen go? Maybe both go. Who knows? But you want to go. You want to test that. Tuchel wants to test that, but he knows Saka's going. He knows Rice is going. He knows Kane's going. He knows Mark Gahey, who captains the side tonight, is going. It just makes perfect sense.
Do you think Madueke's done enough to book his place?
I don't know if SJ wants to take that first.
I mean, what's the options down outside?
Him, Bowen, Foden.
Bowen.
Yeah,
You'd have thought Palmer plays inside rather than outside, but potentially you could say Palmer.
They on the right either.
I mean, he does bring something different in terms of the way he does beat his man, does inject that pace off the bench. But I think, I think he could be a difference maker. I mean, what's the squad? What's the amount of players we can take? Is it still
25, I think.
25, yeah.
I mean, when you're looking at that, you take the 3 goalkeepers.
But then you've got some standbys as well. I
Yeah.
mean, you're going to have some emergency replacements, I guess. There's probably 2 or 3 of those.
Well, I think in the qualifiers, he played well, by the way, didn't he? Didn't he get a couple of
Yeah,
goals?
he did, yeah.
So, and ultimately, I mean, just going back to the previous discussion, these are the players that will be clamoring together at Wetherspoons, cheering on as a nation. So, like, we should be thinking with a bit of foresight as to, rest these players as opposed to bashing Arsenal fans and bashing as a club. It's just it's just annoying. Like I said, I just turn it off.
I shall not be at a Wetherspoons. I shall be at my gentleman's club watching it.
I mean, given the time, I think the games are like, I think the games are 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, so I'm not sure whether two will be open. But
gentleman's club. You want to be careful describing it like that.
Do you know what? In all honesty, as a joke on a live stream, on the spur of a moment, it was on an NFL live stream. Someone said what I do for a living, and before I could even answer, he went, "Oh, he owns a strip club in Soho. It's called Poppycock." He's made up an entire backstory, like on an NFL podcast. And genuinely, one of Tim's subscribers, if this is genuinely true, he messaged him to go, "Oh, I'm in London for a business trip. I'll look up Dom if you got the address, and I'll pop by." Tim was like, "It's made up, mate."
Yeah, it's not true, mate. Honestly, mate. It's not true.
I mean, on the Madueke thing, I think it all depends on what Tuchel wants, right? I mean, if how does he want to make up that front line, that sort of front 3-4 positions, because there's a lot of competition in those areas. But I think where Madueke has a real advantage is there aren't that many direct players that can run at a man.
That's the only reason I asked why, if you think he's done enough, because he is that direct. Even Morgan Rogers, and when he plays in the 10 role for England, he's not really that direct guy. He's like a link-up player. So, and neither's Palmer, neither's Foden. In fact, do you think one of Palmer and or Foden gets left at home?
Or Bellingham, but yeah, I mean Bellingham for me goes. I think it's one
Bellingham
of the two
goes, doesn't he?
He should do.
He's got that little X factor, hasn't he?
I mean, I know Tuchel and him have not always sort of been the best of bosom buddies since Tuchel got the job. But I mean, for me, Bellingham is the best of the 3 and should go. But on Madueke, I think, as you say, he's a direct, pacey runner. Whereas I think those other ones are either, as you say, link up or a little bit more of a bull in a china shop runners. And I don't mean that rudely. I mean they will just barrel their way through. But I don't think you can take Foden, Palmer, and Bellingham without dropping then one of Gordon, Rashford, or Madueke. And I think
Ramsey as well.
You could play him further back, but do you mean Ramsey or Morgan?
Sorry, Morgan Rogers.
Yeah, I was going to say Ramsey. I didn't think Ramsey. Of course, he could play in the 8, I suppose. The one that was at Villa, but
no.
But yeah, I think one of them. Then
it was a name check. Right? It was nothing to do with that.
No, that's fine. It's why you sort of caught me for a minute. I was like, you could play him further back, but yeah, I mean, one of them has to go. But it all depends on the makeup of what he wants. I mean, Khalid's asked a good question here as well. By the way.
I was going to get to that because obviously we started a point beforehand. But Khalid says, "Evening, guys. Good evening, Khalid. How are we, sir? Thanks for joining us as usual. And if you are joining the live, please make sure you're hitting the like and the subscribe and sharing it out as well. That's much appreciated. We are live on Dom's channel. We tried to do it live on both, but we on SJ's as well. But I can't do my Twitter then, so we're kind of screwed. But there we go. So Khalid's asked, does Eze go?
I don't think now. I think the injury might have set him back a few
apparently he's back earlier.
Really?
Apparently it's not a month. Apparently it's a couple of weeks.
Okay, I mean, to be fair, I think even before the injury, I don't think he was. I think he had a few good performances. The Tottenham game, he was actually coming into form, probably at the right time as you go into an international tournament. But I think the injury setback. It depends how he comes back. Does he come back hitting the ground running, continuing the form before he just got injured? But I mean, like again, Eze, he can be a difference maker. But you can say it of all the players. Foden's had his season. Palmer on his day can change the game. For me, it comes down to what Tuchel wants as a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. Do you know what I mean? Because once you have this plan, different players, they fit different molds. You might want to switch off and have a Eze, Madueke, Gordon thing and have certain setups. So it comes down to Tuchel's game plans and how he has those, like I say, plan A, plan B.
You don't think that because he can potentially play on the inside of the left that he would favour Eze rather than a Foden or whatever?
Possibly, but then I don't. When you on the inside left, I feel like he's more coming from the left, as in like where he went to play for Palace.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so probably unlikely, isn't it?
Yeah, I think on the left, I think he does favour Gordon as a starter. So
and Rodgers can do that as well, can't
exactly,
he?
yeah, he does that.
So he wouldn't take another one that can do a 10 and under the left wing when one can potentially do it better.
Yeah, Rodgers does that for England. And to be honest, I like Harvey Barnes as well on that left. I know he's not a player that really gets a lot of plaudits, but I think he does very well for Newcastle.
He's arguably had a better season than Gordon at Newcastle.
I agree, 100%. He has.
Yeah, but he's not going to take Barnes over Gordon, though, isn't he? I mean, Barnes might get in over and Eze over, maybe even over Rodgers, but it's
But then you've got Rashford down that left hand side as well.
Rashford won't go, will he? Surely not.
I think so. I think a decent season in Barcelona. From what obviously I haven't watched La Liga much this season, but from what I've read, they've been impressed with his output in La Liga. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I think in recent years it's been very easy to pick the squad. You knew who's going from January on, November on.
I agree.
It's like they're definitely certain the plane. And I think this time round, there's places up for grabs. Maybe not just starting 11, but definitely in the bench and just behind the bench, in the actual squad. So
some big players are going to be left behind.
That's the thing,
Yeah,
and that could be the downfall of Tuchel, because he might leave a player out. People might think, okay, he could have been the player. It's always
but they're always going to do that. I mean, the thing is that's his choice, and he's got a new contract now, and I actually understand why he's got a new contract, because that there are plenty of specifically Premier League clubs that are in and around those kind of talks where they might potentially change a manager at any point. So I can kind of see why they've done it before the tournament.
If we go out in the quarterfinals, is that not a huge step back from where Gareth Southgate left us?
It's where we got to the last World Cup, isn't it? But
it depends how. It depends how. Yeah. I think it depends how. At the end of the day, because Southgate wasn't a risk taker either. The thing is that everybody criticises the football that Arteta plays, right? And I'm sorry to bring this in, the international talk into club football, but Southgate was doing nothing different. He was doing absolutely nothing different. It was all control, and Tuchel's doing nothing different. He's literally playing the same way as Arteta's playing. So I don't really understand this outrage of what Arteta does. Is whatever. My kind of analysis of it is that it's quite one-dimensional, and it's like the build-up is very methodic. So I think you can actually see where the build-up's going, and I think it's easy to stop. But my real problem. I don't have a problem with the way Tuchel plays. I have no problem with the way Arteta plays. I have no problem with the way Premier League managers play as such. The setup from Bielsa, the Uruguay game is an absolute joke. Is a travesty to football. It's an absolute travesty to football because he literally put those guys in and around his box for like 80 minutes, started kicking lumps out of players, and there should have been 2 red cards in that game for me. Friendly or not,
it didn't seem like a Bielsa kind of team because in his time at Leeds, he was man to man, all action. His setup when he was a Leeds manager,
Yeah, but he still did essentially what Pep did the second half in the final. That's what Bielsa's style was. So he basically played that high up line, block off everything that was going in front, and then everything's man to man behind. So you've got to do something to upset the shape.
Yeah.
So I think he did do that. But yeah, I think a lot of that was because they lost quite heavily, didn't they, to USA?
Mm.
And I think a lot of it was kind of stemmed around that. He was trying to settle the ship, sort of thing, so that he didn't have people calling for his head. So I think that's mainly what it is. But looking at the footage from the England game, Tuchel's taken on his sitting on the water bottle cooler. So it's like, what?
And someone got him a fishing rod and a point hat to make him look like
well, that's what it kind of feels like. But I mean, somebody had to get Bielsa to do that because he's always on his haunches, and it must have blooming killed his Achilles and stuff like that.
I was going to say, his calves must be
his calves
burning.
and whatever. At his age, that can't be good for you. It really can't.
It's not good for me at my age. But I mean, I think on and he's much older than me. But I think on the pragmatic front, I think that's probably how most tournaments are won, particularly at international level. I'm trying to think back of the last time a real absolute all-out attack team won a big tournament.
Yeah, but I mean, but there are limitations to it, right?
Uruguay took it to extremes.
Yeah,
you're right.
They literally parked the bus and basically took lumps out of teams. It kind of reminded me of the Spain-Holland semi-final or the final.
Yes, yeah.
When they were doing karate kicks in.
Was it something like 17 yellow cards in that game?
It was something like that, and two reds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I can't remember his name now, but the guy got sent off for basically karate kicking the Spain player's chest.
Was it
De Jong? Was it De Jong? It wasn't. Was it not? It wasn't De Jong.
It was De Jong.
I think it was De Jong. Actually.
Yeah, it was De Jong.
Yeah,
obviously not the Barcelona one. Nigel De Jong. It was.
Yeah. Luke. Is it Luke?
No, Nigel.
Luke's his cousin, but I'm not sure it's Nigel that was sent off.
Yeah, Nigel De Jong.
Yeah, but he was mad. But yeah, I thought there should have been two red cards in the. I thought that the challenge on Foden was a red card all day long. And I thought the debacle with the 2 yellow cards, and then they said, oh yeah, well one wasn't given, and it was it wasn't shown. And you were like, pretty sure him holding it up with like this is showing a yellow card, but pretty much. But yeah, he was a bit of a disgraceful for a friendly. So yeah, note to self: don't book any friendlies with Uruguay.
I mean, all equally, like, what did you think was going to happen? They do have a reputation for that, but at the same time, you kind of understand why he's trying to do is play different types of opposition to sort of replicate what he's likely to face at the World Cup. But must have known what you're going to get from Uruguay. Probably not to that extreme, as you say, because they'd lost heavily in the previous game. But they're going to be aggressive, physical, overly physical. So And I'm not sure that's what we need at this stage of the season when you've got so many players that are tired. I know a lot of them came out of the squad, but it was a bit of a risk.
Yeah, I just think it was unnecessary. I just think it was maybe the South American teams always do particularly well against us anyway, to be honest. But yeah, I just thought it was too heavy-handed. I don't know what you thought, SJ.
Mute button again. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's just it was a game to play against different type of opposition. If to be honest, I do drift in and out of these friendlies. Not much on it. I'm glad I'm here streaming instead of watching the Japan game. To be honest, I'll probably catch the highlights, but
that's what I did with the Uruguay game. To be honest, I caught the highlights.
Yeah. These friendlies, I can't stand them. Not much on them. I don't think you learn too much. I can't imagine you learn too much from friendly. I can't imagine the players giving 100% effort, especially the players have got things to play for still this season.
Yeah, the big players, but the players that are kind of fighting for a position, they should be showing a bit more than they're showing, right?
Yeah,
or maybe they don't show enough because they think that they're already not on the playing, given that they're in that situation in the first place.
Well, I don't think so. I think generally, but I think the thing there is that I think the players do still try. I think they do still make an effort. And I think there's two reasons for it. One, as Sparks just said, I think you got those players on the fringes trying to get in. I think even if you are on the fringes, you give it absolutely everything. Because what happens if someone gets injured? What happens actually if you do impress? This is your chance to get on. Because you imagine sitting at home for the summer going, oh, I didn't even try. What could have happened? That's kind of the worst thing. But I also think these are still professional sportsmen. And it's very rare that a professional sportsman doesn't try unless there is an abject reason for it. And generally that is, I want the manager gone because they don't trust me or they're killing, my side. And the only way to get them gone is to get poor results because of the cost of sacking them and what have you. So, and I'm thinking very much of sort of Spurs recently because I think several of their players gave up. And I'm just using that because it's a recent incident rather than as a dig at Spurs. But, otherwise, I think these are professional athletes who try and want to give it their all because there's no benefit in them not doing so.
Yeah. Is that Lee?
That is Lee, yes.
Sorry. Welcome in, Lee. If you're in here like Lee is, please make sure you're liking and subscribing and sharing the live. And a good evening to you, Lee, as well. Given that you just kind of went there, you kind of predict where I'm going to go before I go there, apparently. Yeah, De Zerbi to Spurs. What we're making of that?
I mean, if you're going by his record in the first 7 games, it's going to be freaking Tottenham versus Bristol City next season. So it's going to be great. He takes a while to implement his system, it seems, when he goes to new clubs. But I think he's overhyped. I'm not sure where the hype come from for him as a manager. I mean, his win record was 29%, 33% at Brighton. That's not a great record.
He got Brighton into Europe.
Yeah,
and when he left, they were still playing a good style of football because they still remembered what he was playing.
Yeah, but a 29% or 30, I think it's a 33% win record. It's not nothing to shout about.
For it's a team like Brighton, though. You're not talking a team like Arsenal. You're not talking you're not talking.
Even a team like Tottenham, I don't think their squad's that great.
I mean, again, they do have a lot of injuries. They've had a lot of players out, so it's been difficult to assess where they're actually at. I mean, Tudor was just a ridiculous appointment for me. I don't think there was any point getting rid of Thomas Frank when you're bringing in Tudor. To be honest, I'd have got rid of Frank and put Ryan Mason in for a few games, and then until you can get somebody else in. I mean, if you can get De Zerbi in at this point, why couldn't you get De Zerbi in at that point? I don't really understand.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Tudor appointment was my only concern with him was we had him first game, and you always worry about new manager bounce. I was like, he's coming off the back of 11 without a win, against at Juventus, and then he comes, and I think from if Tottenham, from a Tottenham perspective, it's a good hire for next season, but it is a risky one for this season. And with any luck, it's one that doesn't work and they go down. Because obviously from our point of view, they're our main rivals, and I'd like to see them go down. But he's a decent manager. He won 57% of the games at Marseille last season, despite obviously being sacked. And I think. But he is.
Yeah, but I think the owners left as well, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Left?
And obviously, it all went wrong. They fell out.
Yeah, they've overspent and all this. They've left it in a bit of a state, to be fair. So that's not necessarily on him.
It's similar to Carrick at Middlesbrough. It all went wrong when he was forced to sell his best players because they didn't have them, the money there. But so I think it's a good appointment for them if he can keep them up. If it doesn't, then they're left with a very good manager who won't want to be there, and I think it could all go wrong. But he's got a 5-year deal. He's got a 5-year deal, so if it goes wrong in 7 games, then they're in a bit of a pickle, aren't they? I think there'll be clauses in there, but say again. I think there'll be exit clauses in there for both him and Spurs. Apparently not. Apparently there is no exit clause.
Mm-hmm. He wouldn't accept an exit clause because he wants to get paid up for the full duration of the contract, given that he's jumping ship right now. So he would have to get paid fully up. But yeah, I mean, as Spark said, I mean, from a Spurs perspective, they have some decent players in the squad. They just really genuinely can't keep them fit. Mm-hmm. Maddison, Kudos, Kulusevski, Van der Ven, Romero, when he's not losing his head, there are some decent players there. Not necessarily ones that can get you consistent Champions League football, but there's something to build on there. But he's got to keep them up. And, again, as SJ just said, he does struggle in those opening games because he has to build his system. And at Brighton, I think he actually did a really good job. He steadied the ship after, I think he replaced Potter, didn't he? Yes. Steadied the ship. Brighton were already in a good place going forward. I think he actually kept them going in that direction, as you say. He got Europe, so I think he's a good manager. But then Thomas Frank was doing well at Brentford, and I think the fundamental issue with Tottenham is less the coaches, less the players to some extent. Albeit I thought it is. I think it's behind the scenes. It's the owners, and I will say the players. I thought the way they played for Tudor was an absolute disgrace, and at times with Frank, But equally, there's something wrong at that club, and long may it continue from our perspective. But obviously, we try and analyze the football as fairly as possible, objectively, and it's going to need someone like De Zerbi that has a solid backbone, will go in there, will not accept certain things. The question now is, do the players accept that? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, the reason I left this up, the 2 best elite managers, I assume you're putting Conte in there, who always struggles in Europe anyway. Wasn't that the moment when was it the Conference League where they basically pulled out of the Conference League? Was that Conte?
When he got knocked out of the Conference League, could have been Conte.
I can't remember now.
I can't remember if it was Conte or was it Mourinho.
I mean, either way, again, they are managers that need backing, and they all the way through. They need financial backing. They need things their way, and Tottenham under Levy couldn't let them do that, and they were always destined to fail. From that point of view, I just never thought they were going to work there because it's not the kind of club that Tottenham are, not the way they operate. I mean, they may well be thankful if they do go down to Levy putting in those relegation clauses into all their players' contracts, apart from Conor Gallagher, who obviously signed after Levy left. But
it's funny that everybody blames Levy, and then and then he leaves and it all falls apart. That's quite funny.
Oh, spectacularly! I mean, it's from that point of view, it's been an excellent season to watch them.
Yeah, and people still blaming him, and it's like, well, he ain't there, mate. He ain't there now. So you you can only put the onus on the owners for putting Vinay. Why you got Vinay in there, I've got no idea. Maybe that was to increase the profile of the women's team. I think that's about the only thing he did well for us.
Well, Vinay, when he was a commercial director, was starting to get some decent deals in. We started to improve slightly, but. Well, given where we were, obviously we've taken that to a whole new level now. But the club has also grown. But would you put him in on the footballing side? He did nothing for us. But absolutely nothing. He was terrible.
But he looked good to us as well because he followed Gazidis. and
Well,
because he
there is
is just a travesty, man.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the point I was making around the commercial deals is it is he started to get some better commercial deals in, relative to where we were.
Mm,
But you put him on that side of things if you want that. Even then, I think there were better directors than him. But
mm.
they put him in charge of the footballing thing. You look at his track record and go, well, where is it? There is
Yeah.
no decent track record of him on the footballing side, negotiating players' contracts effectively and all these things. It's just completely missing from his CV.
The thing is that they should have been, in my opinion, and I'm not, I'm not privy to conversations inside Spurs, and nor do I want to be, but it just seemed to me that what they should have been doing was strengthening up behind where Levy was, rather than basically weakening it and then literally let Levy go, and then it all just falls like a pack of cards. I think that's literally what's happened.
Yeah, and Arsenal to some extent have got experience of this, haven't they? When David Dean left, very similar, and that's where now
he was ousted, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was ousted. I mean, he said how painful it was. You've basically told you don't work here anymore on a day, and how painful that was. But at least with our owners right now, you can see that when someone goes, there is a succession plan in place behind. We saw, I think it was last summer now, maybe it was some form, I'm pretty sure it was last summer. We saw a significant change at board level, and they had a plan in place ready to make that transition. And at board level, we've barely missed a beat this summer. This season.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I think Dean was relieved of duties because he was trying to put Usman off on the board, wasn't he?
Yes.
So I think that was what the whole dealings was. But obviously that's that just went a bit sour as well. But obviously Dean brought Wenger in anyway, doesn't he?
He did. He was instrumental in that, and obviously that revolutionised not just Arsenal and some of our most famous players like Adams, Bold, Dixon, Keown, Seaman, Parler, players like that. He revolutionised English football to a certain extent, and you look at the cyclical nature of football, and I think it's starting to sort of turn back away from sort of the Wenger ball, which sort of developed into sort of Pep Guardiola, Barcelona style, but Wenger's style went to sort of Mourinho style to Pep style to back towards Arteta style football. That is the evolution.
Yeah, but the reason for that was because he didn't have any money.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not talking just about Arsenal. I'm talking just about football in general. Yeah, and you need these sort of changes in, and Wenger was instrumental in that early change in a way that Pep was kind of to it going back that style, as Jose was, in between those times. So it's and David Dean, from that point of view, was a visionary. Like, who had heard of Arsene Wenger? I mean, Arsene who was that famous headline, right? I mean,
it was a famous headline, wasn't it? It was in Grand Passat, wasn't he? So
in Japan,
FC 87 always says I was referring to Mourinho and Conte, but I think Conte was terrible in Europe. He always has been, with whoever he's managed, to be honest. Mourinho ousted before. Was it the League Cup final?
Yes, if he didn't have to pay him if they won.
Absolute madness.
In the most Spurs thing ever.
Yeah, that's Daniel Levy all over. That you can blame him for that all you want, because he just thought, well, we're going to get rid of this guy, and we don't want to pay him for the win clause.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
Khalid says, why won't Spurs go for someone like Rafinha, who's basically a yes man? I don't think they'll go there, mate. I literally don't think they go there. I think the only reason Rafinha went to Chelsea is because he was with Salzburg.
Yeah, multi-club system.
Strasbourg. That's it. And they were in the B team, so they just went, well, we'll go to the A team then, because we're not getting support here.
Well, basically, I bet they didn't pay the full compensation package. Strasbourg have no evidence for that, but given the way Chelsea sort of run their finances, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. Sunderland at home will beat Tottenham. If West Ham beat Wolves, Tottenham will be 18th before Tottenham play. I don't think Tottenham go down.
I don't know.
Honestly, I don't.
I think a lot of their fans. I can't find one Tottenham fan doesn't think. I think they all think they're going down. They're resigned to going down.
I don't think they're resigned to it. I think it's there's a bit of kidology going on.
I get that, but I was certain they'll beat Nottingham Forest. I really was, and when I saw 3-0, I was like, wow. I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure.
I think the big thing for why they might go down might be Leeds, Forest, West Ham, all used to that. The fans are used to that. The players are used to it. I think there's some truth to that, and the Tottenham fans and players aren't. But I mean, the quality of Tottenham is superior to the others. But we've seen sides like that go down before. But like Sparks, I don't think they will. But
well, they've tried new manager. They've tried the pre-game parade outside the stadium with the flares, getting the boys going. And
I don't get that.
Thought that was AI the first time I saw it.
I did. I was like, but I was like, what is this? I couldn't understand if it was a protest or a celebration, and then they were just celebrating them, and I'm just like, I thought, because you go online and this that and the other, and you go, well, we should be protesting, we should be doing this, that, and the other, and I'm like, what? And now you're celebrating them? I don't understand. It didn't really make much sense to me.
It didn't to me either, but it didn't work either way.
No, it didn't work because then you lose. That's only any good if you win the game, and you get battered as well by your relegation rivals. But yeah, I think
England on the ropes here, by the way, by all accounts.
Yeah,
banging on the door.
Yeah, but then we got absolutely nothing up top. Absolutely nothing. He needs to change it.
Well, I think, going back to your question about Rashford, that's one reason why he could come in, right? You've got a World Cup squad does need some players that can play multiple positions. It's one of Eza's advantages. Rashford's advantages as well could be he could go in. I don't know who's playing up top. It was normally put down as Anthony Gordon, but, I'm not following the game closely enough to see if it is him. But, he's not.
He was playing on the left.
He was playing on the left. I was going to say,
I thought the false nine, maybe.
Foden's doing the false nine. He's doing a cracking job.
It didn't make sense for Gordon. It made more sense for him to be on the left. But that's not a focal point of your attack, is it? Like in any way, shape, or form.
No, I think I put Rodgers there before I put Foden there. To be honest with you,
I think I put me there in some ways before. I mean, obviously not, but Foden just isn't the profile of player to be that solo focal point to me.
Yeah. So, Khalid's racking a cracking job. It is a cracking job indeed. West Ham and Forest have to fight for survival. That is a spelling of survival, by the way. These top players don't have to fight for a relegation battle. I mean, that is also true, right? Because when West Ham, Forest, whatever, even though Forest were, according to their fans, better than Arsenal last season, they go out into a season with relegation on their mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it. And they've been there. They've had this struggle, this fight. They're fighting from down up. Tottenham seem to be fighting from up back down. They're fighting the other ways. It's just, and you can imagine a lot of these players, their agents have deals set up. Probably, Well,
Van der Ven's basically checked out anyway by the looks of it.
Romero probably. Yeah, I think a lot of them seem they could possibly checked out. But it could work. De Zerbi could come in there, knock a few heads. But you think, as a new manager, you don't want to come in and make too many wholesale changes. You might keep the core, and the core could be the issue. All of a sudden, you've lost another game. I mean, how many games have they got? They got 7 games as well, just like us. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It must be 7 because there's only
City and Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, yeah,
the 8th game.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. And yeah, I mean, if they do go down, and we win the league, I mean.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, you don't get much better than that, really, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd still miss the 3 points, to be honest. And I didn't say 3 points.
Just 3.
No, 3 points.
Free. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
Free.
FREE.
FREE. Yeah, not the London pronunciation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I'm still taking them going down every year.
I think it'd be funny. I still think it'd be funny. I think it'd put them back in a box. Although some have been put back in a box for other reasons, but we won't go into those particular reasons. Bruce Free outside Dennis Bergkamp and David Platt. Not sure what that's relating to, but yes.
We were talking about David Dean getting Wenger in.
Yeah.
That's when the comment came through.
Okay.
What was going to say? But in other news, have we seen Ethan Wanyeri with 2 goals tonight for England under 21s and an assist for Miles?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the under 21s. I saw what happened with the under 19s. I think they won 4-0 in the end.
Bit of a special goal from a certain protege.
Dowman scored from the right wing. Just basically took 5 players with him, and literally just belted it in. Got 2 assists as well. Yeah. Mental.
He's a special player, isn't he, Bell?
Yeah. He's too good for that level.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, Ethan scored 2. Skelly was involved in both his goals. Coming down.
Was it 2? I saw he was involved in 1. But
yeah. The second goal he actually passed him directly, because obviously the first one was a shot and the rebound fell to Ethan. He's put it in, but the second goal he's actually dribbled past 2 players, knocked it to the side, and Ethan's put it in the bottom corner. So
yeah, that was the one I saw. Yeah.
I haven't seen replays of that. Is that an X? Is it?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. I mean, obviously we're talking about a Southampton game. Is with the injury possibly to Hincapié, I was hoping to start maybe Skelly in the midfield against Southampton, but it could be that he could have to go left back and put Calafiori in one. But I mean, do you see long-term Skelly playing in the middle or left back? Because obviously he came through the ranks in the middle. I think he's actually effective in there. And also I think sometime this season he's been, I won't say found out, but he's been found wanting a little bit at left back in certain games. That could be just down to lack of minutes.
I don't know why. White was just subbed off. Palmer's just gone off. It's just brought on Solanke and Bowen. O'Reilly's gone off. Lewis Hall's come on. So yeah, I just caught that, but I probably missed other subs than that as well. But yeah, thanks for that, Lee.
It's good to see that Ben White has managed to not just play but come through these games as well. I think that's important. To get into minutes and to make sure and for him to come through unscathed and fit.
Yeah, I do think that Ben White playing is reliant on Hincapié being fit, because he doesn't like both wingers marauding up at the same time. So it's either Calafiori and Timber or White and Hincapié. And I just don't think it necessarily suits the system that he's playing right now for Lewis Skelly. I think that's all it is.
I also think it's, Lewis Skelly exceeded all expectations last year as well, as such a young kid coming in and doing such a fantastic job that I think it's, it's not unusual for this sort of thing to happen to a player of sort of his age and ability. But, I would like to see him playing midfield in the long term. I think that's obviously where he came through in his natural position. But, his career has got a long way to go yet, and I wouldn't be worried or concerned about his career at all. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's got a future at Arsenal. The risk for him is, does he, the competition is so strong, can he get in? Or do Arsenal want to sell him because from a financial perspective, it's pure profit in terms of PSR point of view, which is really, really helpful. But, in terms of, really quickly, in terms of SJ's point on Southampton, it'd be interesting to see where he plays. We'll probably talk about it in a bit, but must remember that and come back to it.
Well, we can go to that now if you want. I mean, it's
just on Skelly, I agree with Dom. Like, he's obviously on the back of last season, his own personal ego is probably a bit higher than what it would be. You got the media hype, and you got to believe in your own hype to be that good. Will he get the minutes? I'm not sure. I think he should play in the middle as well. And obviously, we've got the summer transfer window. We're going to keep building as a team, getting better. So could he have his minutes limited? And again, do we sell while his stock is relatively high and get profit in? We've not been good at that in previous years. We normally hold on to our assets a bit too long. They fall in value and we either pay them off or they just drift off into the ether without any trace, really.
Yeah, I just think that they shouldn't necessarily go to direct rivals. I think
that's the one. Yeah,
where you've got like the Aiden Heaven going to Man United. I don't particularly like that too much.
There wasn't a lot Arsenal could do about that because of his age. But,
I know. I realise that.
I get your point. Your point is very valid.
If you're selling players to other clubs, I think I do think they shouldn't go to direct rivals. I know that there's been talk of him going to Man United, and Man United players, fans are like, just bring him in, and that's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see them happy that either they're picking up our dregs and if players bombing and they're crap, then they're welcome to go there. If they're decent, then absolutely not interested.
I mean, sorry, Jesse, you
go. You go.
I was going to say, I think I agree with you, Spox, but I think also there's sort of two things here, isn't there, as well, which is one, if selling to rivals is kind of becoming more normal.
The norm.
If you sold Miles Lewis-Skelly, unless you're selling to one of the big clients in Europe, you're probably getting 15-20 million with maybe some add-ons. You sell them to Manchester United, you're probably putting another 50% on that. I mean, I don't know what Miles Lewis-Skelly is worth, but that is that's the advantage of it. But like you, I mean, he came through Hale End. I think he's got a big future. He's still very young. I don't want to see him sold at all. And I think some of it where he plays depends on what Arteta thinks of him. But I think Arteta probably does think his long-term future is in midfield. But it depends on how he wants to play the left back. We're kind of going back to a more traditional left back, really in the Hincapié form, and sort of getting a little bit away from the inverted left back stuff, which sort of moves him to midfield. If he wants to go back to the inverted left back, because we see him make tactical tweaks every year, Miles Lewis-Skelly, of course, is the natural fit in there. So I think you're right, Spock. Some of it comes from the fact this season that it is that tactical fit. I also think it's the sort of the age and the sort of development point, but it all depends on how Arteta sets up the side as to where his future lies in terms of positionally.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult, isn't it, to see where they're going to go and whatnot. But yeah. Look, I mean, we can't keep everybody, can we? That's the top and bottom of it, I guess. But some
big players are going to go this summer. We probably see some sort of smaller players go. Smaller in terms of their status in the squad these days. Jesus going, Vieira on loan going, Reece Nelson going. But actually, you could see some sort of fan favourites going, the likes of Martinelli, Trossard, White. I'm not saying all three of them go, but those types of players. There is a very real world possibility of some of them going this summer. Maybe others that, we haven't thought of that could depart. And that's just where the side has got to now. We've seen players like Zinchenko, us move past them. We're starting to move past some of these other players now as well.
Yeah, I've seen some really good points actually with Ben White. And I don't really want him to get sold. And certainly if it's going to be bringing in the likes of Livramento, right? Livramento is supposedly going to cost 60 to 80 million, right?
I'm not paying that much for him. I think he's a good player. But...
I don't see the point in doing that when he's got the injury record that White's got anyway. I'd rather just keep White.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you do as well, doesn't it? I mean, in terms of the summer, I think Ben White's time probably has come to an end at Arsenal because of his fitness record. But I'm a big fan of Ben White. I kind of see it very similar sort of Tierney in terms of why he would be going. And if you can get 30 million plus for Ben White, I know that sort of sounds little, but he's on decent wages and he's also injury prone as well, and that will deflate his value. And you can bring someone in for 40, 50 million. You know, maybe the lad from Brentford, I don't know, just an example. Livramento is a player I like, but again, you're buying an injury-prone player, you know, and at 60, 80 million, I'm not doing that, you know. So I think it depends on where the replacement is, depends on what you do. You know, but Arsenal generally speaking have bless you, by the way, SJ. I think you sneezed. You know, Arsenal generally speaking in recent years have managed to upgrade relatively effectively on the squad, even if they haven't got good value for players leaving. But
yeah, I'm just looking now. Ben saying Ben White's like 30 million euros, which is I'm quite surprised about.
I think he should be worth more than that. But I think, you know, 30 million pounds, you know, seems low for a player that can play centre back, right back, England international, etc., etc. But it's that injury record that probably deflates that value slightly.
I mean, saying Livramento was 40 million. 40 million. Yeah, I mean, I'd pay that. I wouldn't be paying.
I'd pay 40 million quid for Livramento.
Yeah, 60
I'd even with add-ons up to 50. But
yeah,
you know,
same what we paid for White.
Yeah, you know, because I do think he's a good player, but as you say, it's that fitness record.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we go on to the Saints game, SJ. Who do you expect to play in that? You know, obviously we kind of we don't know the injury situation now. A lot of withdrawals, a lot of tweaks. I did see somewhere that basically Saka was in the red zone, and yeah, I saw uproar last night. Basically, how can he be in the red zone? Blah blah. This that and the other. And you're like, well, hasn't Madueke been injured? So yeah, I can kind of understand what that is, and you know, players just need a break. But who do you actually expect to start the Southampton game?
Well, like I said, we've had a lot of international withdrawals. I'm not sure they'll really affect our starting lineup as such. Our cup final hero Kepa will be in goal, I believe. At right back, is Timber coming back? I saw Timber might be back.
Yeah, Timber and Odegaard apparently.
Yeah, I think Timber will get minutes. I don't think he'll start, but he'll get minutes.
Last 20 minutes is normally his kind of repertoire, but obviously White would have played on internationals as well, so he might get the call up ahead of him purely because that he's played in the international.
Yeah, I mean Ben White. I'll probably start Ben White against Southampton. Keep his minutes ticking. Mosquera, Calafiore at centre back, left back, Lewis Skelly. Norgard will get a game. He's on the bench tonight for Denmark, unfortunately. With impacted his international career.
Didn't he score? Didn't he score the first game, Norgard?
Did he?
I think he did. I think he played and he scored.
I'll see if I can find it for you.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the bench now in the actual crucial game. The actual, and they're losing 1-0 anyway. So Norgard, Havertz has played 2 games for Germany. I'd have him in the 10 row again.
Christian Norgard got their 4th.
Okay. I'll have Jesus up top. On the right, I'd give Dalman a start. On the left, I know Martinelli gets back very late from America, doesn't he?
Trossard should be back though, shouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So if Trossard's back, I'll start Trossard.
Didn't he get sent back from the Belgium squad?
He did. Yeah, he did. He never went.
He did.
And I'd also start Martinelli against Sporting as well. So I think that way round works.
Yeah, definitely in Champions League because of the scoring record there.
Well, also you'd expect Sporting to come out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that gives space for Martinelli to run into.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a bit more space in behind, like you say. But yeah.
Was that 10 players? 11 players? Yeah. I think that'd be my team I'll throw together. I mean, I don't think Southampton will really go for it themselves. They're trying to get into the playoffs to come back to the Premier League, which is probably more their goal. Because even if they get through to semis, they'll probably lose to the likes of City, Chelsea. So their focus might not be on this game totally. And I think
Hopefully not, because I've got money on Southampton to go up. So
oh, okay. Yeah,
No
so
bias there then.
Sorry.
I do.
Definitely no bias there then.
No.
I mean, it was £4, so let's not worry too much. I do every year with my brother and my dad. £20 bet, and we just have dinner together, and we have £20 bet on the footy. And you can do it however you want, but we do 5 lots of £4 bets on random teams. And suddenly I find myself caring about Chesterfield or MK Dons or some random team for the season that I've said might go up.
You didn't happen to back Leicester to win the league, did you?
Sorry?
You didn't happen to back Leicester to win the league in 15.
No,
16,
I had 1 in each division, 2 in League Two. So I had Southampton to go up, Bolton to go up, MK Dons to go up, and Chesterfield to go up, and Arsenal to win the league.
But they capped the bet since that, so that you can't do the 5,000 to 1 anymore. It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
they won't cover the bet. So yeah, Khalid says there's two away games off the bat. So we got Southampton away, and Sporting away.
But with the Sporting game, the players will be 3 weeks rested. So
yeah, and also we played the way we played to gain that advantage. So we play that game first, and in between the run with the actual Sporting game at home, we've got 2 home games. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. I don't really buy into all this. Now, granted, with the run that we just had, we had I think it was 10 away games in 17 or something silly like that. So
yeah, it was quite significant.
Whereas now it'll come back in our favour. That we got Bournemouth at home. We've got we've got quite a few home games, haven't we, coming up?
And still only 3 outside London or something, isn't it?
Yeah, so
including the Southampton one.
Well, you got Southampton, Sporting outside.
I wasn't counting the Champions League. I was just counting domestically.
Yeah.
So we've got Manchester City, Southampton, and I think there's one more.
Southampton and City, that's it. If you're not counting Champions League.
No,
Bournemouth home, sorry.
Other games are West Ham and Palace.
Yeah, West Ham and Palace.
So it's just 2 now.
So we've basically got Bournemouth home, then the City away, Newcastle home, Fulham at home, Burnley at home.
Yeah, Brighton was the other one, of course, which is what we've already done that. So yeah. But it's interesting because SJ, you're talking about lots of change there for Southampton, and I think there's lots of chance that is what he does. But I wonder if you might look at it the other way. We've had Saka and Rice as examples, rest for 2.5 weeks. Do they actually need to play 60, 65 minutes against Southampton to get some match sharpness back in, having not played for a while? And I wonder if that might enter his thinking a little bit here. So I think the team will very much be who's fit, who can play what. I think that, and I think Sporting will be the deciding factor. I.e., I'm just making this up as a hypothetical. The medical assessment is Saka can't play 2 90 minutes. He can only really do 1 90 minute and 20 minutes. You're wanting him 90 minutes against Sporting, obviously, and that will affect the Southampton thing. But I do wonder whether that side against Southampton is going to be stronger than we think it is, because A, it's a quarter final, and B, some of these players now haven't played for 2.5 weeks, and try and find them a bit of rhythm ahead of Sporting.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a massive factor, to be honest. I think that it's going to be more a case of they come on for 25 minutes, get them in sync for the Sporting game rather than. I mean, Khalid says feel like we should go as strong as we can for every game from now on. But I think he's done that. I do think he's done that. So I understand that there's been a certain criticism that he hasn't rotated the squad properly, but I think he has.
I think he has too. I think we've got 2 outfield players in the top 50 minutes for Premier League this season, which are Rice and Zubimendi. I think he has. It's it's a stick that's used to beat him unfairly with, because historically he hasn't. But again, I think there's some truth to that historically. But I'd also look at it from the point of view historically, and I'm quite het up about this, is okay, we want to get into the Champions League consistently to grow and go there. Well, we have to play our best players, because our backup, we're dropping off. Saka's a bad example because we didn't really have a right winger backup. But I go back to Rob Holding. You go, Nuno Tavares, Lokonga. Oh, do you want to? They were the players that were the backup players, because we were having to build the squad over time. To get where you want to go and to attract the kind of backup players you have now, you have to be Champions League. And you have to be showing that it's not just Champions League. Arguably you could say Chelsea. I think that, there's a chance they miss out, but Chelsea aren't really competing for the big trophies right now. So they're not as attractive as they would be, say, as Arsenal, who have built on and gone, we can compete. We're going for the leagues. This isn't good enough for us. We want to go on to win the league. That's how you attract the best. It's how you attract the quality of backup. And to do that, you had to play your best players, because the quality behind them wasn't there. It is now. Now the quality is there. We're starting to see some of this rotation. I think it's why we're seeing so many technical injuries this season Arsenal have had, because if there's any doubt about them, he can leave them out and give them that game off. Whereas 2 years ago, he didn't play them.
Yeah, I think the one question mark is with Norgard, but
yes, he should play that.
I don't know whether that's. I know he when he came, he got a knock and he got injuries and such like. But I also think that he'd like to play Norgard when Mourinho was playing, and when Mourinho went out, that option didn't happen. And maybe I'm just looking for something that isn't there. Maybe I've just looked at something a bit deeper than it should have been looked at. I don't know, but it does seem a bit odd that once Mourinho went,
Norgard disappears.
That he didn't really feature so much.
And Norgard's put very few, if any, feet wrong this season. I think he's been terrific all season.
I don't think he's done anything particularly wrong.
For the level that you're expecting from him, obviously. I'm not saying
played 2 games
kind of down and taken 50 players on and scored a worldie, but
yeah. Sorry, I'm watching the. At least we're trying to score, but yeah. Zero end product.
How much value do you put on this FA Cup? Because obviously the Carabao Cup seemed to be a Champions League, and everyone has a meltdown. I know it was a cup which we would like to have won. We didn't win. It was an isolated game. Can we move on as a fan base together?
I actually find it quite funny that I actually hear nothing about the Carabao Cup at all. Nothing. Everything's about pulling out of internationals. Arsenal fans this, unbearable that. Ben White shouldn't get called up for England. All this nonsense. I've heard nothing about the Carabao Cup at all.
Well, there was a couple of days after, wasn't it, that our season was going to implode. But other than that, I mean, look, the Carabao Cup's a terrible.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm actually saying is that the Carabao Cup, as SJ just said there, is like the Champions League apparently, and I've heard nothing about the winners of it.
Well, exactly, it's all gone quiet, hasn't it? But
anybody would think we'd won it. The way the narratives have gone, anybody would think we'd won it, and they're just trying to, take the shine off it, belittle it, do whatever. I think I've seen one trophy lift.
Yeah, actually, I haven't seen a trophy lift. Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
But I mean, obviously the semi-finals played at Wembley. Whether you agree with that or not, I don't really agree with that. But we're one game away from Wembley again. You don't want to have back-to-back defeats, albeit in different competitions, and not in the Premier League or Champions League. Well, I'm not worried about the media narrative. I think a lot of people these days seem to be worried about the media narrative because it is everyone against Arsenal, it seems. If we do go against Southampton, it will just ramp up by nth degree, So I think this is a game we should win. So I'm not too worried about it, but I'd like to win and go through. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Sparks, I think we'll start the likes of Saka and Rice on the bench, get the minutes just to get their legs ticking over again. Ahead of that game against Sporting. Is that 3 days later? I think there's a couple of days. It's next.
Yeah. Well,
It's Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's not too far behind. So you don't want to do too much, but give them a lot. Just give them enough just to get the ball at their feet for a bit, and be ready for Tuesday. Hopefully get no injuries.
Hopefully they'll beat Chelsea, and then we can have them in the semi-final.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it? The question is, though, will it be played on a wet Tuesday night in Stoke?
Yeah. Well, no, because it'd be Wembley.
That is where Port Vale are, believe it or not. I know.
Wembley.
Yeah, of course it would. But, but I mean, I think this game is important, though, because there would be some credence potentially to it as well, to be fair. But the narrative would be Arsenal out of 2 competitions in 2 games. Is their season falling apart? There would be some credence to it at that point. Look, we played badly in the cup final against a good team and lost, and deservedly lost. Southampton is a slightly different issue. I know it's only a quarterfinal, not a final, but you put the 2 together, and I think there is some credence to it. I still think we win the league, even if we lost against Southampton, by the way. But I think it's important that we come back from this international break, have not played for a couple of weeks, and do it with a win, even if it's 1-0 and it goes in on someone's backside. Just win that game. I think is crucial.
I realised I named 10 players when I said my team because it was Odegaard I was missing. Do you think Odegaard will start? I think
he's fit enough. If he's fit enough for an hour, then I think he starts.
Yeah, I think he will start. Yeah, I realised I named 10 players. Yeah, Odegaard. I mean, even before he got injured, he was again a polarizing player. Obviously, he was left at the Leeds game on the bench because he had a few poor performances before that. But when you're injured, like I said, you're always the best player. The injured player is always the best player until they come back. So he's being hit there. Now it's like, well, we need Odegaard in that position. I think he's a top player. I see Khalid saying time for him to step up. You see, it's now or never. The problem is he set the standard so high a couple of years ago with that season. It was a phenomenal season. He was scoring from here and there. He was setting up. He was just setting up goals left, right, and centre, scoring from outside the box every other game. And he's kind of tailed off. It's the same, similar to Saka. That season they both set high standards, and we didn't win the league. And it could be that they both have poor seasons and we win the league. So there's no proper formula or system to this whole Premier League thing.
Do you guys think he's being unfairly scapegoated? I mean, it's true that he's not playing well, as you said, but do you think he's being overly criticised? Because I thought he was good against Brentford until he got injured. He struggled through the last 25 minutes. But
I mean, you're only as good as your last game. That's the problem, isn't it? And if you don't really create anything, it's all well and good, kind of running around a lot. But if you don't really do a lot when you run the around, then it's going to get criticised, isn't it? And he's the captain at the end of the day. And if he doesn't step up, then the focal point has to go at him. I do think it's him not playing and not playing well. I think it hinders our performance no end. Even I think you see it more when he doesn't play at all than when he actually does play, because he's doing that pressing, not giving players time on a ball, trying to drag the team up the field.
Keeping the ball when we need to. I thought we really missed him against City. I really do.
The time that he does that little that turn, that 360 that he does, and it's just time, like you say. It's just time.
Those things that they're holding the ball there, the 360. Those are the things they're going to miss. I think, like I said, Odegaard and Saka. I think they can have good games, but I think if they don't have a G or A in that game, they didn't have a good game of rubbish. They're off form. Yeah,
I mean, especially for rivals and stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't think you can use that for Odegaard, to be honest.
I mean, I think I agree with Khalid's assessment on Odegaard. Right, it's time for him to step up. He's not played well for a while, but I also think, and I think this is true of Saka and players across the league, the way the league, in terms of the space by where the defensive lines are, isn't helping players like him or Saka or Salah or name your forward player. Right, the amount of big chances being created this season is way down. I can't think bar Semenyo any wide forward that's played well. I'm struggling for number 10s at really boss games this
There's
season.
no 10s, is there? Who's played well in a 10? You might say Morgan Rogers. He scored a couple of worldies from outside the box. He's not.
Shirky's a good shout, but but the point is we're struggling, right? We've named a couple, but Odegaard still does need to step up, and he does need to get closer. My big criticism of Martin Odegaard this season is he doesn't get close enough to Gyökeres. And I think we saw, and while Eza is a different type of 10, as is Havertz, I thought we looked better with them in many ways, because in terms of an attacking point of view, partly because when they were, on occasion when we sort of remember them, there's a bit more space, but partly because they're closer to Gyökeres. And I think that's a big criticism. And Arteta said it publicly about him. And I think if he does that, I think it will unlock something in him. But equally, I don't think we're seeing those attacking players really boss it across the league this season at all.
I would. The one pushback for that is that when Odegaard was playing in the same team as Gyökeres, he wasn't necessarily on form either. So he probably wasn't helping the situation either, to be fair. So
no, I think that is fair. And as I say, there's some context behind it, but there is still that element really that Odegaard does need to improve. Harry Wilson's a good shout, by the way. But again, against Fulham, your line probably isn't as deep either.
I think Gyökeres scored another goal.
Gyökeres has.
Yeah, it's 3-2 Sweden. Gyökeres scored 18th minute. Right foot shot from the centre of the goal.
There we go. Is that Kivior then not going to the World Cup? Gyökeres is.
I forgot that's another player. Is he on loan, Kivior? He is on loan.
Yeah,
right?
Kivior's still on loan, yeah.
It's a bit like Hincapié, though, isn't it?
Yeah, he is an obligation, but it's like 15 million euros or something.
No, it's a bit more than that, isn't it?
I thought it was around 20.
It's over 20 million, but with the loan fee this season, I think it's, when you put it all in together, and I think there's a sell on. So it's difficult to work out exactly how much it is. Because, there's something like a 5 million loan fee this season. So it might be 15 million like in the summer, because there's 5 million's been paid up front, making it total of 20. That might be how they're sort of putting it together, but.
Yeah. Khalid says we've missed Odegaard a lot. Technical floor is a lot higher when he's on the pitch. I've given him a lot of grace, but now it's time to show us who you are. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, from both sides of it, to be fair. So
yeah.
I think we've kind of covered that discussion.
Italy
yeah.
Italy up against it now. 10 men, 1-1. They could be out. Missed their third World Cup in a row. Who would believe it?
So they, unless they win, they don't go through.
Yeah, this is it. If they lose, straight knockout. So they could be missing their third World Cup.
It's like a 70s game show.
It's a knockout.
I might have the wrong decade. I'm not old enough.
You can look it up. I can't be bothered.
I'm not.
we're not
Not even I'm bothering.
No, absolutely not. But it looks like we're going to end this game with a 1-0 loss to Japan. So celebrating Tuchel's new contract in style. So, yeah.
Who had Ben White as the only England player to score in these internationals?
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, 0-0 though, because he conceded a penalty. Though,
not a penalty for me.
It was not a penalty for me. I think they both came together. Yeah, I think it was a bit of a joke. It feels good knowing none of our players will be scapegoated for this.
Oh, they will. If we had Rice and Saka, we'd have won this game.
No, it was Ben White's fault for the goal. He was on the pitch. Don't forget, it was his fault.
Yeah. And if Madueke hadn't got injured as well, but
Yeah. And if Palmer hadn't given the ball away stupidly,
Yeah, but he doesn't play for us, so that we can ignore that.
Well, they do. That's the point. And
Yeah, I know exactly.
That's what they'll be talking about on Talkshite tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah. Southampton, do you expect us to get through?
Yeah.
Comfortably, or do you squeaky bum one
disjointed
goal?
performance, 2-0 win.
2-0?
2-0, but disjointed performance.
Okay.
I agree with the 2-0. I think we'll win 2-0. It will be disjointed. I don't think we're playing great football anyway. Like I said, I think we're just methodical, getting the job done. We just see out to the end of the season in that manner. I think we'll be too strong for Southampton on the day. Like I said, I don't think they will play their strongest 11. When they're currently sixth in the Championship, level on points with Wrexham, who are just behind them. Yes, it's tight there.
Yeah,
so they want to get to the playoffs.
Do they don't play a midweek game though, do they?
Question.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't have thought so.
So
couldn't they go full strength?
No, they're not playing this week, Southampton. By the way, the Victor Gyökeres goal, I think he's also going to represent Sweden at the ping pong World Cup as well, because that's a shot blocked, shot saved, post Gyökeres.
Sorry to jump in. I mean, look, I said they're level of points of Wrexham. They've got Wrexham 3 days after they play us in the Championship away.
Well, 3 days after.
Hopefully,
so they're playing on Tuesday. Championship. They play
Wrexham away. So they have got a midweek game. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant before, Spark. Sorry.
No. Because they can't play before because
that's what I was saying. Apologies, I misunderstood.
Yeah, I'm talking about the midweek game afterwards. Like we're
so they've got Wrexham away. Right, level on points them in 7th place. Obviously, they're in 6th, so they've got a massive game. So I do think they'll focus on that game. Definitely.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to affect what the lineup.
Yeah.
But with the break they've had, they may will end up looking at trying to do both, as in get through both with their strong side because they've had a rest beforehand.
Yeah. I mean, do many of the Southampton players play internationals as well?
I don't know, but a few might be. Sort of Northern Ireland, under-21s, that sort of stuff. But you'd have thought most of them probably aren't, and therefore will have had a decent rest, and therefore they can do 290s.
Maybe.
I mean, they're on form.
Maybe
they're on form.
They are on massive form.
They haven't.
Yeah.
They haven't lost since mid-January.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Hopefully we change that. But there we go.
I do think we will.
I think a 3-1. To be honest, I think they'll score, but I think we'll get back in there with some decent goals as well. So yeah. I think we kind of covered everything. Anybody else got anything to add?
I mean, just obviously Sporting's just straight behind it. Might not get time to speak about it after the Southampton game.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll win there? I think we'll win 2-0 again. That's my prediction. They've got a decent striker, haven't they? Some Luis Suarez, not the same.
Not the
same by name, but that's not the same guy.
Not the old buyer. I'm sure linked someone in the Premier League. I don't know who it was who was linked to possibly buying him.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
He scored goals.
City season as well for that sort of thing as well at the moment.
Well, yeah, we can discuss that very quickly actually. Before we go into before we shoot off, but I think it'd be semi-comfortable. I think it'd be easier than Leverkusen.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Do you reckon they'll attack us like they did Bodo Glimt? Because I don't think so. Because I think that was very much game state. They had no choice. They were 3 down.
Yeah.
And we're obviously a better side than Bodo Glimt. So I think they'll be more cagey, but I still think they will come out to some extent and attack us, and I think that's where we'll get our goals from.
Yeah, I think they have to attempt it at home.
Yeah, if they don't win at home, I think they're going out, right?
Yeah, and I think that's how it benefits us. I don't think Leverkusen intended to play like that the whole duration of the game, to be honest.
No.
So
they've lost one game at home, one game in the league all season. I know it's a Portuguese league. Don't shoot me. Conceded 15 goals all season in the Portuguese league. So yeah, I mean, they're a decent outfit. Scored 68 goals. So I think agreed. They have to win the first leg. I've always said if we come back to the Emirates, even if we're one goal behind, I think we're able to turn that around.
yeah,
in the second leg. So I think Sporting do have to hopefully try and get a 2-goal lead. I don't think they'll be able to hold out at the Emirates.
I think Sporting themselves proved that anyway, didn't they, with Bodo?
Yeah,
where they were 3-0 down, and they didn't really go hell for leather against them either at home, but they just destroyed them, and I think we'd do the same, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the last round in the Champions League just showed what a home advantage Champions League it is in Champions League. Very few teams went away from home. Very few. Sweden through, Denmark have taken it to extra time. Italy on the verge of doing the same. So we've got Gyökeres at the World Cup. Norgard and Calafiori could still be there.
Yes. But yeah. Obviously, there have been some transfer rumours that we want to discuss while we're here very quickly. Alvarez has been quite strongly linked to the point where there's been noise that there's an agreement in place. Don't know how true that is. There's talk of Tonali.
That feels less likely to me.
Livramento. Go on. Who else is there?
Been linked with Anthony Gordon again, but we've also been linked with Kvaratskhelia.
Kvaratskhelia is the one I was assuming. Yeah, and obviously him. So, where do you see this transfer window going? Do you think realistically we're going to get 2 big players, or do you think we're going to get 1 big player? Do you think we're going to get no big players? Where do you see the window going? Do you believe the rumours that are going around?
Yeah, I think weirdly, I think this might hinge on what we win. Like if we do win, if we collapse in the league and win nothing, I think it'll be harder to attract these sort of players. But if we do win the league, Champions League, get semi-final, possibly final, lose, possibly happens, I think we will possibly get one of those players on that list. But again, like you said, we're gonna have to let go of a few top players, or not top players, but big players, big names in our team, which is part of the parcel of football, to bring in these players, which will probably bring our floor up and raise our ceiling, which is what we're striving to do and need to do each season and every transfer window we get. Does that Kvaratskhelia play on the left-hand side? I think he does.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
That'll be a massive upgrade.
He plays on both sides, actually.
But he does, yeah. But
I think predominantly on the left, which is that'll be a massive upgrade on what we have, dangerous. So, yeah, if we can get him, even Alvarez, I think he's a top player. Would he play down the middle for us?
I reckon he play in the shadow
behind,
striker role.
Supporting striker.
Yeah.
But even so, he's a player that can play in multiple positions, which Arteta loves. He loves players that can play in more than one position.
Premier League experience too.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
He has played left as well, so yeah, he can play left as well.
It's still a weird sell from Man City. I'm not sure why they got rid of him.
He wanted to go and start, didn't he?
Yeah, but I'm sure he could
wants to be the man.
Yeah, you can find a place for him somewhere and let him realise you're not Haaland. Relax.
Well, that's it, isn't it? When you have got Haaland, he's going to get the nod before you, whoever
it's
you
why
are.
Spurs struggled for years to get back up for Kane, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, definitely. Because it's like, well, if he's remotely fit, he's getting the nod. So it's a difficult gig, isn't it? I mean, if you go to a normal club and you're playing 60 games a season, you're probably playing 35 of those games anyway. So you're in with that chance of actually getting the gig. But if you are up against Haaland's playing 59 out of 60, isn't he?
Yeah, if he's fit, yeah.
What do you think for the future of Ethan? I keep watching Ethan's goal over and over again. What do you think on the future of Ethan? Do you think he's I'm not sure what the purpose was him going on loan. Was it to get minutes? Was it because
I think
he was to get minutes for sure,
just to boost his stock value before we let him go?
I don't think we let him go this summer.
No,
I don't think we'd let either of them go. I don't think we'd let Skelly go or Nwaneri.
Okay.
I literally just think that it's. I think Arteta's under pressure to win,
100%.
and I think that he needs the best quality players to be playing, and we've even seen it with Pep. Once he's actually got to that point, and all right, he won stuff straight away. But the more time that's gone on, the more he's integrated younger players into the squad. He didn't do to start with.
Yeah. Once you've won something, the shackles come off and you could just play.
The pressure comes off a bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I actually think Ethan goes out on loan, by the way. I could see that happening in the summer because, because Max Dowman can take some of his minutes, which I think was part of the thinking behind Ethan. But, I think it depends on what we do in the window. I think, I do expect White to move on. I do expect probably Martinelli to move on, Jesus to move on. And you've got to, as you said, SJ, it's part of football, but it's also you've got to create the squad space for them because they're not there. And there'll probably be a surprise departure. I'm not saying it's going to be, but say Kai Havertz, for instance, someone we're not expecting to move on may well move on. I'm just using him illustratively, and that will impact how it goes. But I think Ethan goes out on loan, and I think if he could get a season of playing, playing 80, 90 minutes, over 30 plus games, I think that's huge for him.
I do think that Havertz could go if we got the likes of Alvarez.
Yeah, well, that's a like-for-like replacement, which is why Havertz was sort of forefront of my mind, because I think that's exactly where he plays. And I think if there are concerns about that injury he picked up, Alvarez makes sense there. And I think a lot of people would be glad to see the back of Kai. I think he's much maligned. But I do think Alvarez is an upgrade on Havertz. But that's not to malign Havertz. It's more to praise Alvarez.
You've got 2 years left.
What, Havertz?
Would you sell Havertz? You've got two.
Well, there's talk about him getting a 1-year extension, but there's talk of a 1-year extension on less money. But I think that's also about protecting value in terms of a deal. So I think if he signs that, he's probably not going. I think that's more about protecting Arsenal. But Havertz may be open to a move if Alvarez comes in because that's where his minutes are. And you know what? We would get most of our money back, I suspect, for Kai. As well.
Bayern wanted him, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, if Bayern want him, you could be looking at all your money back. And I think he'd fit in really well there. And I think Kai is a really good player, and I think him behind Gyökeres is his best position. I really do, but
we just haven't seen it enough, have we? Really,
we just haven't seen it. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I do. I think if there's a shock move, I think he would be it.
Yeah, I do too. But I think all of these impact how our summer goes. I do think particularly if you make all of those sales, right, Jesus, apart from the wages, say 5 million for Jesus, maybe 10.
No, you're getting something like 20 million euros, I reckon.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 is probably a bit low. Let's call it 10 million quid for Jesus. You're talking 50 for Martinelli. You're talking 50 for Kai, and you're talking 20 for Ben White. It's 130 million in plus maybe some for Vieira, Kivior. So you're talking 150 million plus there. From a PSR perspective, before that is 450 million you can spend. Arsenal obviously will want to do some balancing the books there, just because of the way the PSR rules work. But that does mean you can go out and get big names to come in. Alvarez, you could, I'm not convinced that Kvaratskhelia does want to go. I think this is a new contract stuff. But if he does, I can see Arsenal being in the conversation and getting him, because I think the attraction for him going to England would be huge. I don't see him going to Barca because I don't think they can afford him. I don't think he goes to Bayern. I just don't. And I don't think he goes to Real Madrid because of the players they got there. England looks the most likely. And I do think Arsenal is a real attractive offer for him. So I think if he's genuinely looking to go, I can see that happening. And it becomes affordable in that scenario. The one I don't think will happen is Tonioli. I'm not sure I want him for a start, to be honest with you. And I think,
just his age profile, though.
His age profile, doesn't tend to work for me. I think he's a bit of a tosser, to be honest with you. But that's important, right, in terms of the squad dynamic. And I'd actually rather Arsenal try and sign someone like an Adam Wharton. I really would. I think Adam Wharton coming in to be a Zubimendi replacement, back up there, is really effective. But we'll see.
But they're coming in to be second fiddle, though. Their profile is quite high, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's the problem. And I think it's the same with Tonioli, right? And I also think, Adam Wharton, I mean, he's been linked with Real Madrid. I don't buy that too much. But if Rodri moves on, I think Adam Wharton slipping into Manchester City's midfield kind of feels like his best option.
Wharton or Anderson, isn't it?
Anderson's another one I would like. But again, Rice or Zubimendi are the starters. Elliot Anderson would be a preference too. I mean, it's not realistic. It's not FIFA. It's not Football Manager. But could you imagine if we moved on Moreno and Norgard and brought in Wharton and Anderson? What a midfield for that is. But again, it's just quite. I mean, I think he's probably learned his lesson. But I just it's not realistic. But I'd love one of those over Tonioli if we're really looking for that kind of profile, Anderson or Wharton. And let's say, I think that progressive pass.
Or Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, again, the age profile there, he doesn't kind of feel right.
He's starting to get injuries as well, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he's coming in as that backup role, that might limit it. But the reason I'm quite high on Wharton and Anderson, actually, I think is a really good shout, is their progressive passing from deep is really important, because I think we don't have that. Moreno or, Norgard is your sort of traditional six. Moreno is kind of the closest you got to the Rice replacement, and there aren't many that can do that role. Who's the progressive passer? Miles maybe moves into that role. But if you're looking to bring someone in for that, that's where I'm looking at Wharton and Anderson. And I'd rather that than Tonioli, because I'd actually rather Miles or Moreno took Rice's backup minutes, to be honest. I think that would be better.
Do you agree with that, SJ?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do agree with that. Moving on, Norgard and Marino for those couple of players, sensational. Like Dom said, it's not Football Manager. Those are the days where you could just try and sign a player. If you don't get it, you save it, reset it, and come back and try again with a different bid, or you take over the other team and sell it to yourself, which I used to do.
We all did it as kids, right? But it's also like you can manage the minutes in it realistic. It's not in an unrealistic way, and to keep them happy, right? Whereas you can't realize, and that's where Moreno and Norgard are really important players. They're decent players that can come in and be back, but they understand their position in the squad. It's why no team in world football has 22 players that think they're the absolute starter and they're, top draw.
I think Marino's a leader as well. I think he's underestimated, to be honest with you.
I do too.
So yeah. But I hope some of the deals come to pass. I'm going to start other shows where I kind of started looking into these things a bit deeper. But that's for another time. Guys, if you're in here, please make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing the lives. Any comments, drop them in the comments section. Thanks for joining us, SJ.
Thanks for having me as per usual. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on, Dom.
Thank you very much. No, it's always a pleasure.
Yes, nice one. And thank you for watching. Again, please make sure you're hitting the like button and sharing it out. We'll see you. I probably won't do a show Thursday because still at the end of the crappy internationals. So yeah, it probably end up being when's the Southampton game? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
So we got
Terrible.
8 o'clock is a bit
Yeah.
rough, isn't it?
Especially as we got to go to Sporting on Tuesday. If we were going to Sporting on Wednesday, you get it. The only plus side is we've got Bournemouth lunchtime on the Saturday, so you've then got a bit of time to prepare, and you've got 4 games. And Bournemouth for me is, is more important than Southampton, but it's not an ideal one to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have liked the 12:30 kickoff either. To be honest,
no, but I'd like 3 o'clock Saturday would have been ideal, but at least that's not.
We don't get those though. So they're too much TV rights for that.
Exactly.
To be honest, but yeah, there we go. That's it from us. This is We're the North Bank from Footy Corner TV. We'll see you next time. Bye.